Hey everyone, I'm Alan Thrall, and in this video I want to talk about why I recently got into bodybuilding. I've mentioned it in a couple past videos, but I have not made a formal video about it, so here it is. Earlier this year, after competing at California's Strongest Man, I looked ahead to what's next. And due to some scheduling constraints, I realized that I'm unable to compete in a few of the competitions that piqued my interest at the time. So I was left asking myself, what's next? And during this time, I was watching some videos posted by Natural Hypertrophy covering some routines from other natural bodybuilders. And this left me intrigued. Bodybuilding isn't exactly what I thought it was. My perception of bodybuilding was probably the same as yours. Posing on stage, being oiled up, wearing glittery Speedos, steroids, big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shell bellies, and bodybuilding training was just as bad. I imagine light, fluff and puff, chase a little burn, chase a little pump, stick to isolation movements only, cable machines, eat your boiled chicken and white rice, GTL, rinse and repeat. However, after watching channels like Natural Hypertrophy, Jeffrey Schofield, and Basement Bodybuilding, those are the three main channels I've been watching most of lately, I'm realizing that bodybuilding at its roots is much different and much more than I thought that it was. The definition of bodybuilding is the use of progressive resistance exercise to build, control, and develop one's muscles via hypertrophy. I don't think that any of you watching would scoff at the pursuit of this. We all lift weights to get bigger muscles. There's no denying this. Some of you are probably jumping out of your chair right now because you would argue that you're only concerned with strength, not aesthetics. And I understand this. But let's not lie to ourselves. We all want to look like we lift to some degree. You might not want 20-inch arms and a 55-inch chest, but I'm sure you don't want a pencil neck or noodles hanging from the end of your shoulder sockets, or as Shane Germont says, you don't want pecs that look like a couple of wet lettuce leaves. Even if you're only lifting weights just to be generally healthy, having muscle on your body is metabolically healthy, and it prevents you against injuries, not just in the gym, but in life. Having muscle on your body protects you from things like falls, which can be devastating as you age. It's body armor. And even if you're an athlete who doesn't want to build too much muscle because you compete in a weight class, you could still benefit from putting some muscle on your body. It is better to be muscular and at the top of your weight class than skinny and at the bottom of your weight class. If you take two athletes with the same experience level, same skill level, same amount of mental drive and determination and will to win, two athletes, everything the same, the more muscular athlete is going to have a better chance of winning. So I'm saying all this because muscle is good. The pursuit of building muscle is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with this. Bodybuilding is not vain. It is not vain to want to improve your physical appearance. Self-improvement is healthy. And even if you are in the boat of wanting or of caring more about physical ability than physical appearance, it is hard to have a base level of strength without any sort of muscle. The two sort of go hand in hand. And I want to talk about strength training, bodybuilding, and powerlifting, how they've all kind of been conflated into this Venn diagram. But I'm going to leave that for the next video. This video is more of a personal video about just why I started bodybuilding. When I decided to pursue bodybuilding a few months ago, it was mainly to improve strongman performance. Building muscle on my frame, putting more muscle mass on my upper body is the low-hanging fruit for me personally. If I want to be a better strongman, I could, number one, increase my strength by following a strength-specific program for the next year. Number two, I could improve my technique with more exposure to strongman events and implements. And number three, I could take a year or more or longer and focus primarily on building some muscle, putting some muscle on my upper body. If I followed a strength-focused program for the next year, my strength would increase, but marginally. I'm not getting any newbie gains at this point. It would be a lot of effort for just a little bit of return. I know the amount of mental focus, drive, and determination that I would need to follow a very specific strength program for the next year. Just to put 10 pounds on my deadlift, it would take a lot of effort, a lot of work. Again, a lot of work, just a little bit of return. And at this point in my life, I just don't have it mentally to do that, to want to do that. This isn't any sort of retirement speech. I just know where I'm at right now and what I want to do. Training is the most important thing in my life besides family and I do not want to dread it. So I'm not gonna force myself to follow a specific strength program, powerlifting program, or strongman program just because I think I need to as a strength athlete. Building muscle right now sounds a lot more appealing to me than a strength specific program. Plus, while we're on the topic of strength, I'm seeing some of these natural bodybuilders like Eric Soviak rowing more weight than me, doing weighted pull-ups and weighted dips with more weight than I can do, shoulder pressing more than me. So here's this natural bodybuilder lifting more weight than me, a strength athlete. So maybe there's something to this routine. And when I look at some of these natural bodybuilders, their exercise selection makes me think, wait. This is bodybuilding? This can be bodybuilding? They're doing squats, deadlifts, bench press, rows, overhead press, heavy Romanian deadlifts, pull-ups, intense isolation movements. They're training heavy. They're lifting with intensity. This is what I like. This is why I go to the gym. I could really get into this. Maybe bodybuilding isn't just lightweight, super high reps, fluff and puff, vanity work. It can be gritty, hard work. I can actually train with some intensity. And you might be thinking, wait, Alan, haven't you seen videos of Ronnie Coleman doing heavy lifting and compound movements? Yes, I have, but I never really saw myself in Ronnie Coleman, so maybe it just didn't spark a flame. But seeing these guys do it, seeing these other natural bodybuilders do it, really did motivate me, and it still is motivating me. This version of bodybuilding I'm seeing on YouTube looks like sound, quality, hypertrophy, strength training. And I'm going to talk more about this in the next video. So back to improving myself as a strongman. The second thing I could do is work on exposure and practice with strongman implements. Personally, I think I'm good here. There isn't a cue that I'm going to learn that's going to unlock a whole bunch of strength potential in any of these strongman events. I'm not saying that I know it all. I just think this is of less importance than building muscle. Upper body muscle mass is my weakest link, so I want to improve it. I think that having more muscle on my upper body will take me to the next level once I jump back to strike sports. It's going to help my progress overall. Bodybuilding right now is new for me, so it is a novel stimulus. And I should say, it's only been 3 months that I'm doing this. I originally started with an interest in improving my strongman performance, but I'm really enjoying bodybuilding just for the spirit of bodybuilding. So it kind of drew me in to improve my performance as a strongman athlete, but I'm staying because I'm really just enjoying bodybuilding at this point. And as I get older, I tend to think more long term, and I am convinced that you can make progress in bodybuilding well into your 50s. I don't think the same can be said for strength sports. Sure, there are outliers like Dave Ricks in powerlifting, who's found the fountain of youth, but I believe that steady bodybuilding progression can be made for decades, giving you remain consistent. So I've got some things to say about powerlifting, strength training, and bodybuilding, but I'm going to save that for the next video. So stay tuned and always remember, train on time.